Welcome to Class Act Episode 4, and today we're going to be looking at one of my favorite weapons in Black Ops, the Stakeout. Now the Stakeout is unique among the shotguns. It's a low ammo pump action, but what it lacks in versatility it gains in the sheer firepower of being one of the longest one-hit kill shotguns in the game, and it has some of the best range out of all the shotties. What makes it particularly interesting, at least in the shotgun category, is the fact that it actually benefits quite heavily from aiming down sights, which will make sleight of hand very important. So let's go ahead and take a look at my first class with the Stakeout. So this first class is a very objective-based class. It relies heavily on flak jacket to protect you from explosives in the high traffic areas. Then you combo that with hacker, and it allows you to kind of see where enemies might be hiding. Normally I wouldn't combo the two because flak jacket can protect you from the claymores, but I found that it works really well for aggressive players. And you kind of combo that with the jammer to kind of rattle things up from motion sensors and whatnot, as well as protect you from UAV to a certain extent. And then you obviously have sleight of hand, because sleight of hand is important on this class. So let's go ahead and take a look here at some example clips of using this class. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys some longer clips, some kill streaks at first, then we'll move into more of a montage type format on some of the later clips. But for this clip we'll start off with a long kill streak that actually builds up to a blackbird. Now you might be wondering what's a good shotgun kill streak. Honestly, it's up to you. I personally prefer the spy or the recon type kill streak, so what you're going to want to run is spy plane, counter spy plane, blackbird. I'm pretty sure that's what I'm running, and I run almost 100% of the time. That's what I work with. The UAV allows you to see where enemies are, obviously, and the counter keeps them from seeing you. Since you're not wearing ghost and you're obviously going to appear on radar every time you take a shot, it is crucial to remain hidden, and counter UAV allows you to do that. Now another thing is the Blackbird is a very high risk kill streak, I guess you could say, for a shotgun. Now normally you would be able to get those pretty easily with an assault rifle, but since you're being so aggressive with this, it's sometimes a long shot to get up to that point. So I usually run the recon setup with this. I don't really worry about any kill streaks that fly around in the sky or anything like that, but if you prefer that, by all means do it. I have the best success with these kill streaks. Now you notice there with the jammer works wonders with this class. You're not really worried about claymores. That's not the point of the jammer. Since you're wearing flak jacket, you can run past almost any claymore with no problem. But the reason why I use hacker is you kind of see where everybody is hiding, and then you kind of get an idea of where they're going to be facing. Depending on the type of players you're going against, they usually don't face the objects that they're like if they have a claymore, they usually won't be facing that unless there's some sort of corner camper, which you can't really put that past anybody. But for the most part, it gives you an idea of where people are hiding. So that's why I like to use hacker. Now if you're a TDM player, you might want to try taking flak jacket off and putting on lightweight or hardline, anything that you prefer. But then when you do that, it would allow you to use the jammer to its fullest potential because it could render those claymores useless. So I mean, it's not as crucial with the flak jacket setup. You could substitute the jammer for a tactical insertion, but for me, I just prefer using the jammer because it not only does it hide you from the enemies when you place it down, it can render turrets useless, it can render motion sensors useless, so it has its uses. I've actually rendered a turret useless before and ran up to it and knifed it, so it is pretty useful, and that's why I use it. Now this next clip we're looking here on Villa is just kind of to show you how flak jacket saves my life more times than it's ever not saved my life, because I've always had the I've always said that I've never died from having flak jacket on, not having hardline, because hardline doesn't ever save your life. I think flak jacket is one of the most important perks in this game, and that's why I think it's really good on this class. It complements it so well. I survive so many explosives when I have this because I'm always down getting dirty with this class. No puns intended. You can leave your dirty jokes in the comments below if you thought that. But right here you can notice that I put the jammer down because I know a guy's up there because I saw his jammer through the wall, and he combos me with his own, so I thought that was kind of funny. But that's just kind of an example of how it lets me know where people are at, because it's pretty annoying to run halfway across the map thinking that these people are camping in a corner when really they're on the other side, and seeing where their equipment is at will really give you an idea of where you need to look to find these people. See, right here I'm just kind of patrolling this area, which is what you want to do with the Stakeout. You might notice that I'm getting a lot of one-hit kills. The reasoning behind that is, you notice right here, this is a clip I put in just to show you that the Stakeout is very inconsistent. A lot of times you'll think that you're going to get a one-hit kill and you get nothing. You need to get used to that. You need to make sure you finish your targets. Right there I was guilty of thinking that it was going to be a one-shot, then I was moving to the next target, and it turns out I didn't actually kill him. So I paid the price there for not being on top of my game. I wanted to point that out because when you try this weapon out, you're probably going to notice it's very inconsistent when you think that you should be a one hit from certain ranges. That's because it's connection. A lot of times if you have a bad connection, it's going to be difficult to use the stakeout because the shotguns are very reliant on connection. So, but what you might notice is, I mentioned this in the intro, is that you definitely want to stick to sleight of hand. Do not try to complement the stakeout with steady aim, because you will just be disappointed, because you do not want to be hip firing this weapon. It benefits so much from aiming down sights. It's like built-in steady aim. It increases the spread of the weapon, or decreases it, I should say, by a substantial margin. And I get so many one-hit kills from ranges that probably people would be like, wow, just by aiming down sights. Now by having Sleight of Hand Pro, you're able to kind of quick scope people to a certain extent with the stakeout. Not quite, the same thing, but you can kind of just zoom in on people when they run up on you. Now that's not to say you shouldn't always, there's a time and a place to use hip fire, as we'll see later in the video. But as a general rule, I try to avoid hip fire with the stakeout because it's just so inconsistent. Even with steady aim, you really don't benefit from it. It's just really difficult to you'll get a lot of hit markers, I promise you that. So if you don't believe me, you can try the stakeout with steady aim, and you'll be severely disappointed. But I am a sleight of hand pro guy because you can aim down sights quickly, you can get right on target, and you have no problems. See, like right there, if I would have hip fired that guy, probably would have got a hit marker. So stick to sleight of hand on all your classes. I'm not just saying that just to say it. I have used Hardened Pro with some success in the past, but honestly, when it comes down to it, sleight of hand's the way to go. I can't say that enough. So, but this is just this clip right here was just actually the same game as the first one, and then I put in some extra bonus clips for you guys. But the stakeout is a very versatile weapon in some respects, but for the most part, you want to stick to the outskirts of the map. So let's take a look at a more aggressive class that might complement some of you more aggressive players. I know a lot of people like to rush in this game, and it's kind of hard to do, but basically all I do with this class is you can stick to you have to have marathon because it gets you where you need to go, and lightweight's crucial. You can have the secondary of your choice, that's not really important, but I think that you definitely need Simtex and stuns because those are the quickestly deployed of the lethals and tacticals. And then tac insert if you prefer, or claymore, it's up to you. I prefer tac insert because it'll keep me around points a lot quicker. So this first clip here is going to show you a little bit of objective play, and I wanted to point out one thing. A lot of times people use the excuse, well, I didn't have on flak jackets, so I didn't play the objective. And I've always found that to be a poor excuse. Yeah, flak jacket's good to have, and good players who play the objective a lot of times will rely on flak jacket. But that doesn't mean just because you're running lightweight that you don't have to play the objective. So definitely can hop on flags, you just have to be smart about it. And right here you see me YY there and try to get some long range shots on those guys. That guy, that's about the length of, or the max distance that you can even get a hit marker with this. It probably would have taken 2 more shots to finish that off. Now right here is an example of using sleight of hand without pro. You'll notice that I'm hip firing these guys. If you're right up on somebody, by all means hip fire, especially if you don't have sleight of hand pro yet. The hip fire will be your friends if they get right up in your face, because they're not going to survive that. You won't get a hit marker if you're right like that. But right here you can see I was zooming in on those guys because I ran up right behind them, and that's definitely what you want to do with the stakeout. You definitely want to flank. You do want to avoid any head-on confrontation. See right there, even though it was a head-on confrontation, I still had the advantage on that guy. He had no idea what angle I was sitting at, so I was able to take him out. But like I said, hip fire only when needed. See, like right here, I lost that guy and I was able to hip fire and finish him off. Because if I would have tried to zoom in again, he probably either would have knifed me or, I would have got stuck on this idiot behind me, and I probably would have gotten shot by his MP5. So definitely want to rely on the sleight of hand though. Use it as a crutch because it's what makes this weapon tick. But yeah, this does have the longest one-hit kill range of any of the shotguns. So you need to use that to your fullest advantage. But in the same respect, you need to be really stingy on how early you give away your position. Because if you fire when they're like 30 feet away from you, you may get a hit marker, but in the end, it's going to be a disaster because they're going to turn on you. That's happened to me more times than I can count. Now this clip right here is just showing the power of the stakeout. This is probably montage worthy, but I thought it was cool, so I threw it in here for you guys. And as I try to YY and get that last bullet in there, this guy knifes me, but what can you do? But I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I know it was a little bit more laid back than some of the other episodes, but I really enjoyed the Stakeout. It's a fun weapon to use, and I thought I would share a shotgun with you guys. And since I've done a light machine gun now and a submachine gun, I'm thinking the next one's going to be a sniper rifle. That way I have one class act for every category, and then after that we'll start to go into some of the other weapons, since there seems to be a lot of people wanting the commando. Maybe we'll do that after we do a sniper. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. Feel free to give it a like. It really helps, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.